If you're a man over 60 and you started noticing shifts in your performance, sensation, or self-assurance, especially down there, you're definitely not alone. Every single week, I meet men dealing with less firmness, reduced sensation, or even mild aches that slowly chip away at their sense of masculinity. But what if I told you that a natural oil, something sitting right on a shelf in your house, could actually help restore blood flow, break down hidden tissue tightness, and even revive the feeling you thought had disappeared for good? I'm Dr. Jirag, and I've guided many men to restore their intimate vitality by using both science and natural approaches. Today, I want to share a potent, often overlooked remedy, one that's been quietly helping men regain comfort and confidence without medication, without injections, and without shame. You probably haven't heard of using castor oil for male rejuvenation, but the science is legitimate, and the improvements I've seen are simply undeniable. This natural oil, when used properly, holds the potential to improve blood flow, dissolve tissue stiffness, soothe inflammation, restore nerve sensation, and safeguard aging skin, all in one. In this video, I'll walk you through the 5 main benefits of castor oil for men over 60. And then, I'll show you exactly how to use it, safely and effectively. Most men don't hear about this from their physician. And at the end, I'll reveal the one essential step you must include, or you'll miss the full healing benefit. Let's dive in. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to hit that button and turn on notifications so you never miss a natural health solution designed just for men over 60. And if this topic resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your responses help me create content that genuinely supports your journey toward well-being. All right, let's begin with the first and most immediate benefit you might notice. Castor oil's unique ability to naturally increase blood flow to the private area, because without strong, steady circulation, everything else, from firmness to sensation, gradually fades. So let's examine how this simple oil can help restore what time has slowly diminished. Number 1, boost blood flow to the private area naturally. I still remember a patient of mine, Robert, 67 years old. He sat across from me, looked down, and quietly said, "Doc, it just doesn't work the way it used to." He wasn't referring to desire. He meant function, blood flow, firmness, that crucial sense of vitality every man feels when things are working as they should. And for Robert, as with so many men I see, the loss wasn't sudden. It crept in little by little, so gradually, in fact, that he hardly realized how much he'd lost, until it began affecting his confidence in the bedroom and in daily life. The truth is, after age 60, our arteries lose some flexibility, blood vessels narrow, and nitric oxide levels drop. These are the changes that silently decrease circulation to the private area, leaving you with weaker intimate reactions, slower response times, or no response at all. Now, here's where castor oil becomes relevant. This golden thick oil is rich in a compound called ricinoleic acid, which has been shown to enhance local blood flow by opening tiny vessels and promoting oxygen-rich circulation to places that need it most. When massaged gently into the skin, especially with gentle warmth, castor oil soaks deep into the tissue layers, helping awaken blood vessels that have been slow or constricted. Many of my patients mention a warm sensation within minutes, a sign that microcirculation is coming back. Over time, this improved blood flow can help restore nighttime and spontaneous intimate responses, increase sensation, and simply return that steady confidence every man deserves. Robert started applying castor oil 3 nights a week. Within a month, he returned with a gentle smile and said, "Something's different. It feels like my body remembers what it's supposed to do." That isn't a miracle. It's biology reacting to the right care. Now that we've seen how circulation can improve Let's dig even deeper. Many men over 60 are experiencing something they don't even know exists, something that quietly blocks blood flow, causes discomfort, and even changes the shape of their male organ. Let's discuss that next. Number 2, breaks down inner tissue stiffness and unwanted buildup. Not too long ago, I had a patient named Daniel, 71 years old, a retired military veteran. He came into my office feeling frustrated, confused, and honestly embarrassed. He told me, "Dr. Jurag, something's just wrong. It curves now. It feels rigid. I don't know what's going on." Like many men at his age, Daniel had unknowingly developed internal tissue stiffness in the shaft of his private area, a condition that frequently goes undiagnosed and ignored because men rarely discuss it. But it's much more common than most believe, especially in men over 60. Years of minor trauma, repeated actions, old injuries, or even mild inflammation from untreated problems can result in the buildup of collagen, a kind of internal scarring known as plaque. This tissue stiffness isn't always obvious, but it can cause a pulling feeling, bending, or even the sensation that your private area has shortened or lost fullness. What Daniel was experiencing is something I've witnessed many times. Symptoms that make intimacy uncomfortable and quietly undermine confidence over the years. This is where castor oil can make a real impact. It has a long tradition in natural wellness for addressing tough tissue, and its main compound, ricinoleic acid, penetrates deep into the skin and underlying tissue. When massaged consistently over the affected area, castor oil helps soften hardened collagen and supports the body's natural capacity to address tissue stiffness gently over time. For Daniel, I instruct him to use the oil 3 to 4 nights a week, together with gentle warmth. After 6 weeks, he shared, that feeling of reclaiming something you thought was gone forever is truly empowering, and it's possible. But we're not finished yet, because while tackling tissue stiffness is essential, there's another subtle factor that affects performance, sensation, and comfort for older men. Something that starts small, but can spread across the whole pelvic area if left unaddressed. And the surprising fact is, castor oil helps tackle this one too. Low-level chronic inflammation, the silent disruptor. One of the most underappreciated problems I see in men over 60 is low-level chronic inflammation in the private and pelvic area. It doesn't always present as clear discomfort. Sometimes it's a slight burning feeling. Other times, it's a tightness you can't quite define, or it's that sense that things are shrinking or becoming less responsive. I had a patient, Michael, 66, who described it like this: "It just seems like my body is holding back, like everything's getting smaller, stiffer, and less comfortable." Inflammation is the body's natural reaction to stress, minor injury, or aging tissue. But when it becomes persistent, especially in the delicate structures of the private area, it does more harm than benefit. It disrupts blood flow, limits flexibility, speeds up tissue breakdown, and blocks healthy healing. Sadly, many men live with this hidden inflammation for years, never knowing what's really causing their discomfort, or that there's a straightforward, natural way to deal with it. Castor oil, a gentle anti-inflammatory powerhouse. Castor oil is a remarkable anti-inflammatory. The ricinoleic acid it contains has been researched for its ability to decrease discomfort, swelling, and cellular stress in deep tissues. When applied topically and absorbed into the skin, it doesn't just remain on the surface. It goes deeper, calming inflamed tissue and supporting your body's ability to heal itself. Over time, this can restore comfort, flexibility, and even help reverse some of the tissue hardening that comes with age. Michael started using castor oil consistently, with gentle warmth, right before bed. After 3 weeks, he said, "I'm not only more comfortable, I feel like my body is opening up again." And that's exactly what should happen. When inflammation drops, healing can finally begin. And when recovery starts, your body moves toward its natural, healthy state. But there's still more, because healing isn't just about tissue, it's about sensation. And for many older men, What they miss most isn't just firmness or shape, it's that deep vital connection. The pleasure, the sensation, the intimacy. So how do we get that back? Let me show you. Sensation and intimacy, reclaiming the feeling. There's something many men won't mention, even to their physicians. It's not just a struggle to get or keep an intimate response. It's that when intimacy does occur, it doesn't feel the same. That spark, that sensation, that profound sense of connection. They say it's just not present anymore. One of my patients, Larry, 70 years old, sat with tears in his eyes as he told me, "I can still perform, but I don't feel the way I once did. It's as if my body is doing the actions, but my heart's not in it. I miss feeling something." That struck me deeply, because I know exactly what he means. And I know he's far from alone. As men age, the tiny nerve endings responsible for pleasure, reaction, and excitement can start to dull, reduce blood flow, inflammation, hormonal shifts, and even medications. All of these can affect the delicate nerve networks around the private area. And when those nerves stop firing like they once did, men often describe their experiences as numb, disconnected, or even emotionally dull. But there's hope. One of the overlooked benefits of castor oil is its potential to support nerve repair and regrowth. It's been studied for use in cases involving stressed or irritated nerves. And when applied regularly to the groin area, it may help enhance nerve function and restore sensation that tend to fade with age. The warmth, the boost in circulation, the decrease in inflammation, all of it helps create the perfect setting for nerves to start waking up again. Larry took my advice, applying castor oil each night with a bit of warmth. After about a month, he leaned in and said quietly, "I can feel again. It's subtle, but it's coming back, and I feel more like myself." That's a powerful milestone when sensation returns. It's not just physical, but emotional too, because this part of your body is more than tissue. It's connected to your sense of identity, closeness, and joy. Are these real-life results helpful for you? Type 1 if these insights are useful, or 0 if you prefer to hear about a different topic next time. Your feedback shapes what I share and helps us serve you better. The skin, a forgotten but critical layer. Now, while regaining sensation is a major breakthrough, there's still one more layer we shouldn't ignore. Because even if blood flow improves and nerves are revived, none of it matters if the skin itself is weak, dry, or affected. Let's discuss that next. As men get older, we often focus on muscle loss, drops in energy, or even key hormone decline. But something that rarely gets talked about, yet affects nearly every man past 60, is skin, especially the skin in the most private, sensitive part of your body. I remember a patient named Frank, 73, who told me, "The skin down there feels thinner, drier, sometimes it even splits if I'm not careful." And he wasn't exaggerating. As important hormone levels drop, and as the skin naturally loses collagen and moisture with age, it becomes more delicate, especially in areas not often cared for intentionally. Dryness, itching, flaking, these are more than minor irritations. They can lead to tiny micro tears that bring discomfort, make intimacy painful, and leave underlying tissue exposed, irritation, or minor injury. For many older men, it's a hidden reason they start avoiding touch or lose assurance during intimate moments. Because when the skin doesn't feel strong or responsive, it quietly signals to the brain that something is aging faster than it should. Castor oil, a shield for your skin. This is another area where castor oil excels. It's an incredibly nourishing oil, thick, rich, and deeply hydrating. Unlike lotions that stay on the surface or dry up quickly, castor oil penetrates far into skin, locking in moisture and guarding the barrier that protects your most sensitive nerves and blood vessels. It's like giving your skin a shield, but without the heaviness. Just a smooth, natural layer of support. Frank began applying it a few nights each week before sleep. No heat, no complicated routine, just a gentle massage and a few moments of care. Within a few weeks, he said, "It feels stronger, more resilient. I'm not worried about tearing anymore. And that's the secret. When skin is healthy, the whole system works better. Nerves are better protected. Blood vessels stay flexible. And most importantly, confidence returns. But here's the key. It's about how you use it. But of course, none of these benefits come by chance. The way you use castor oil, the when, where, and how, matters a lot. And if you skip just one crucial step, you might miss out on all it can offer. So let me show you exactly how to use it correctly. Now that you know the powerful benefits castor oil can provide: improved blood flow, softer tissue stiffness, reduced inflammation, renewed sensation, and healthier skin. Let's talk about how to actually use it, because this is where most men go wrong. They hear about the advantages, get interested, maybe even try it once or twice, but without the proper method, they don't notice results, and then they give up. But healing doesn't come from guessing. It comes from care, commitment, and doing things the right way. A real story, Gerald's turnaround. When I first recommended castor oil to a patient named Gerald, 69, he was hesitant. "You want me to put what? Where?" he asked with a skeptical look. But after I explained the process, he decided to give it a try. A few weeks later, he came back with a quiet grin and said, "It's not just working. I actually look forward to doing it." Here's how I guide my patients. First, always choose 100% pure, cold-pressed castor oil. Nothing processed. No additives. No scents. Warm the oil gently by rubbing it between your hands or setting the bottle in a cup of warm water. Carefully massage it into the shaft, base, and surrounding pubic region for about 3 to 5 minutes, preferably before bed. Use gentle, circular movements, not with force, but with focus. This isn't about fixing. It's about giving your body the support it needs to repair. Then, if possible, place a warm towel or a low-heat compress for 15 to 20 minutes. This allows the oil to absorb further into the tissue and enhances blood flow. Don't hurry. Give your body time to accept the care. And most importantly, remain consistent. 3 to 4 nights weekly is enough to start seeing subtle yet genuine changes within a few weeks. Gerald stuck with it. Over time, he not only noticed improvements in firmness and sensation, but he told me something more. It's become a habit. I feel more connected with myself. That's the real success. Because when healing becomes a rhythm, your body responds in amazing ways. Let's talk about what really matters. Now that you know how to do it correctly, let me share something even more meaningful. The emotional truth behind all of this. Because this isn't just about healing the body. It's about regaining something deeper. Let's talk about that. I've worked with men for over 30 years. And if there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. What most men honestly want isn't only performance. It's connection. It's assurance. It's feeling like themselves again. To feel strong, energized, and capable. When anything shifts in that part of their body, whether it's firmness, sensation, comfort, or shape, it can shake their sense of self in ways they don't always express. That's why I so strongly believe in sharing tools like this. Natural, safe, and often missed. Because sometimes healing isn't about medication or surgery. Sometimes it's about slowing down, listening to your body, and offering it what it needs to revive. So, if you're a man over 60 who's noticed these changes, whether it's weaker intimate responses, reduced sensation, curvature, tightness, or even emotional distance from your own body, please remember this. You are not broken. You are not alone. And there are steps you can take. A simple oil, a profound opportunity. Castor oil isn't magical, but it is powerful. It can help increase blood flow, resolve hidden tissue stiffness, ease inflammation, revive nerve sensation, and protect aging skin. And when used properly, with patience and regularity, it becomes more than a remedy. It becomes a peaceful ritual of reclaiming your inner strength. I've witnessed it work in real lives. I've seen men come in discouraged and leave weeks later with hope in their eyes. And I've seen how something as simple as a few minutes of self-care, done regularly, can restore not just physical ability, but self-respect, dignity, and connection. So, wherever you are on your path, know this: it's not too late. Your body still listens, your system still responds, and you still deserve to feel good, whole, and fully alive. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message reached you, take your first step tonight, because healing starts with action, and you're ready. Final message to the audience: if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it. It truly helps more men find natural answers just like this. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who might be struggling quietly and hasn't found a solution yet. And if you have questions, stories, or results to share, leave a comment below. And your story could help another man feel less isolated. Your support means more than you realize. So remember to subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay connected. This is bigger than just health. It's about regaining strength, and you're part of that movement. Thank you,